Bum, 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 bum. Ba-da-bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum. Whoops, what did I do? Bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum. Oh, crud. I hit a wrong button. What happened? There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It has been a strange day. I hit the wrong button. Don't know what happened, but I am here now. We are going to do some readings. So, I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some medicine card readings. And the way this works, if you're new here, um, Aaliyah, I could have guessed that you would love fun. The way, if you are new here, the first 6 people to say yes in the comments um, get a 1 card medicine card reading. So I see. Oh, hey, Kim. All right, so all you have to do to get a card is to say yes. Actually, we may have our 6th already. Yeah, and Joe, you know what? I think we might have. So if you're new here, I apologize. We are already filled up. So we have Kim, Aaliyah, Joe, Tiffany, Keith, and Anna. So thank you guys for being on the ball, and welcome. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Um, what else do I say? I just woke up from a nap. So I am still kind of between the worlds. So forgive me if I'm a little bit wonky. Um, so my only request for watching this video is Keith, you're the token male. No, there's a Joe. Joe, it's like you're in good company. So um, so my only request is if you would please share my video. You can share it far and wide, share it across your social medias. Um, Tiffany, you're curious why not Natalie? I don't see a Natalie. I don't know if you can see something. I can't. I don't see a Natalie up here on the comments. So I just read off the ones that are here. And if you are not one of the first 6, you are not out of luck. All you need to do is choose a number between 1 and 6 and pay attention to that card. In fact, I sometimes will remind people that, perception is everything. And if you're watching this waiting for your card and another card says something that resonates with you, um, oh, in your comment you asked for her. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tiffany. I just saw your, okay. You know what? I will put Natalie on the list too, even though I apologize for that. I was just looking at the names. I didn't actually read necessarily the whole comment. So, um, but if you are not one of the original 6, just choose a number. Pay attention to that card because the universe has this amazing way of giving us what we need when we need it. And even if the card is technically in somebody else's name, if that's the card you choose, I promise that there will be a message in that for you. And like I was just saying earlier, every card has the potential to have something for you. Like, if it's within your perception, it's the universe talking to you. Getting distracted by the comments. So choose a number between 1 and 6 if you aren't one of the first 6, and please share my video. I recently started doing this on YouTube rather than Facebook to kind of up my game, step out of my comfort zone, get a little more influence. Oh, you sure, Kim? Thank you, Kim. So Natalie, Kim is giving up her card for you. Thank you, Kim, that is so kind. So you're actually top of the list now. You guys. You know what? 7 is a magic number. I'm going to go with 7. So I don't want anyone to be I don't want anyone to be out. So now that I have fumbled and stumbled and gone all over the place, welcome everyone to another mini medicine card readings. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. I'm going to pull some cards. Please share my video. If you are new here, we already have our 6 people, but choose a number between 1 and 6, and you can pay attention to that card, and I promise that the universe will weave whatever message you need into that card, and pay attention to all the other cards as well, because the universe is constantly talking to us. And hi, Renee. Even if it's a card for someone else, if there is a message there that resonates with you, take it, claim it. That's yours. Okay? I'm going to try to be not quite so verbose tonight so we can squeeze in. We got an extra card tonight. So let's get started. So Natalie, we're going to do you first. And if you enjoy my videos, if you would like to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, would like to reciprocate, I have my PayPal and my Venmo links in the description under the video. Anything you give is so highly appreciated. I haven't words. I really, it's hard to believe sometimes that people will give me money for doing what I love to do. So it is like beyond appreciated. Anything else I should say? I always tend to make those announcements at the end. But by the end, I usually only have a couple people left. So I thought I should probably start saying them toward the beginning as well. So anyway, so first card of the night for Natalie. All right, so Natalie, your card number 1 is Squirrel. That came up reversed. Um, Reversed is not bad. Um, I always say that I always kind of qualify my readings by one of the first things I say when I'm doing a reading, because I don't want people to focus on, oh crap, there's a card in reverse. What did I do wrong? Am I going to hell? What's going on, right? But a card in reverse is either something that just needs attention, or it's something that is actually in the process of changing, in the process of manifesting, and it just hasn't, like a seed that hasn't blossomed yet, kind of thing. So reverse cards are never bad. And so with Squirrel is, gosh, Squirrel is about resourcefulness, right? Squirrel is about abundance, but in a different way from like when we think of buffalo. Buffalo is about abundance, because buffalo is this huge mountain of an animal who supplied all the needs of the Plains Indians, right? Food, shelter, tools, clothing, everything they needed, one-stop shopping, right? Squirrel, on the other hand, is about abundance, but Squirrel is about the flow of abundance, right? Just like our money system is called currency, because it's supposed to flow like a current, right? If it stops, it gets stagnant and it doesn't help anybody, right? And so it's about cultivating that faith in the universe. Like one of my main affirmations that I repeat to myself all the time is, everything is always working out for me. Because it is. And it's kind of that difference between scarcity mindedness and abundant mindedness, right? When you know everything's going to work out, when you know you're taken care of, when you realize that the world, the universe is safe, friendly, and abundant, then you can look at things, even problems, even challenges, open-mindedly, so that you're more apt to see solutions than the problems, right? When you're open-minded, when you're abundantly minded, when you realize that the universe is on your side, that the universe wants you to succeed, that the universe wants you to be all that you can be, then rather than it being one challenge after another, all of those challenges become opportunities. And rather than our usual idea of squirreliness, of running around like a chicken without its head, trying to make things happen, like we have this idea that squirrels are running around panicked, trying to make sure they have enough for the winter time, right? And that is like opposite what true squirrel medicine is like. True squirrel medicine is about resourcefulness, knowing that there is more than enough for everybody, that everything is working out for you, that whatever it is you need, you know, it's basic law of attraction, right? When you put out there your intentions, what you need, what you desire, etc., the universe will help find the quickest, easiest way to that fulfillment of those desires. And you wouldn't have those desires if the universe didn't want you to have them. You wouldn't have those desires if on some level you didn't already know what it feels like to have those things, right? There would be no point of reference. You would just be like, oh, that's just life, right? And so the fact that you desire things, the fact that you are not content with the way things are, or that things are missing, or that things, that longing for something is actually a sign that you deserve whatever that is. That longing is that realization that I am not complete in this moment. The thing is, you are always complete. In every moment, you are whole, you are complete, you are divine, you are eternal. But the perception is of not being whole. And so it's turning that around and having that faith, like that attitude of gratitude kind of thing. You know, I always talk about how, you know, squirrels out there playing and wrestling and chasing each other, having the time of their life, and they keep finding these acorns and nuts and stuff, right? It's like, oh my God, that's the biggest acorn I've ever seen. And so squirrel is like grateful, embraces that acorn, and then returns it to the earth, digs a hole, puts it in the earth, so that his arms are open again, ready to receive the next acorn. And so it's kind of this, that process of gratitude, of receiving, releasing. And when you're releasing, it's like you've still got those resources. You can go and dig that up anytime. But the squirrel, kind of part of the point of the squirrel is about being present in the moment, right? Squirrel isn't worried about starving in the wintertime. Squirrel, by doing what squirrels do, they automatically have enough in the wintertime. You know, and so by being in the moment, being, you know, excited about this acorn, and then burying that acorn in the moment, later on comes a moment where, oh man, I'm really hungry. There was that great big acorn I buried. I'm going to go eat it now. Like, by taking care of yourself in the moment, every moment after that is taken care of, right? And something that's been really coming up for me lately is that, you know, they talk about, like, if you feel shame or guilt, you're living in the past. If you feel anxiety or fear, you're living in the future, right? But where are those feelings, right? Where those feelings are right here, right now. That anxiety doesn't live in the future. That anxiety is you taking the worry from tomorrow and pulling it into this moment, right? Or your shame is taking something from the past that you can't control, that you can't change, and you're insisting on bringing that energy into this moment. Both of those emotions, both of those feelings exist right here, right now. And so when you can stay present with them and feel them, acknowledge them, that's usually all that is needed. And I make it sound easier than it probably is. But it's by sitting with those feelings and those emotions that clears them. Once they are felt, you've been trying to borrow strength from the past in the future. You know, you can do that. I went through a whole decade of extreme anxiety and panic attacks, and so I was constantly running to the doctor and back, right? Because I was always afraid, oh crap, my heart's gonna explode, oh, how high is my blood pressure, blah blah blah. So I'd be running, but I always, even though going to the doctor was a relief in a lot of ways, it also brought up fears, because oh crap, what if they find out there's really something wrong with me? right? And when you're dealing with extreme anxiety and such, you know, just that is enough to floor you. So what I would do before I go to a doctor's appointment, I would get quiet and I would, you know, breathe easily, relax, and then I would reach out with my heart in the present to the future me on the other side of that doctor's appointment, and I would feel the relief of that future me and bring it into this moment, knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. And I actually stumbled across that when I was a kid. You know, I'm the oldest of 5 kids. So I was always the one that I felt responsible for everyone else. So whenever we went out and about, it was kind of like the mama duck and her 5 ducklings following behind her, right? If we go someplace like the state fair or something, where there's tons and tons of people, I was always paranoid that someone was going to wander off and get lost, right? So I would walk behind, making sure everyone stayed within range. And the thing I stumbled across at one point, and this was way before any inkling of creative visualization or law of attraction, I was Catholic at the time, I realized if I could feel myself in bed that night, if I could see myself in bed, if I could feel the covers pulled up around me, feel the pillow under my head, I knew that everything was going to be okay from that present point till I actually found myself in bed cozy, right? So that's a really, thanks for bringing that up, you. That's one of the tools that I use all the time. But so squirrel medicine is really about being present, knowing that everything, that you have way more resources than you realize you do, right? When you think about just a single oak tree and the thousands or millions of acorns it drops in a single year is enough to, you know, feed a whole bevy of squirrels. And when you have a forest full of oak trees and other bushes and nuts and all kinds of things, it's like nature naturally produces more than is needed. You know, like I think it was Alan Watts talked about how, you know, an apple tree doesn't just get like drop 100 apples and say, okay, I'm done, that's good enough. No, it's like nature is constantly moving toward healing and abundance. And, you know, because it's the apples that are dropped that don't feed anything that feeds the soil, right? And the same with the nuts. It's like by planting all those nuts and acorns, the squirrels can't possibly remember where they buried everything. So squirrels are responsible for planting entire forests. And that's what you do. Like everything, like I talk sometimes about the kind of the phrase that I live by is called walking in beauty. And it's a Native American phrase. And I don't remember what tribe it comes from. But it's basically the idea that everything you say and everything you do sows seeds of either love or fear, beauty or ugly, love or hate. And so you make sure you live in a way that everything that you do, every effect you have in the world, is from a place of love, walking in beauty, bringing more beauty into the world. And I always talk about how I always make sure every day that when I go to bed at night, there's at least a little bit more beauty in the world than there was when I woke up. And that's kind of the way that nature works, right? It's like beauty and wholeness, and everything is connected. There is no separation. And where was I going with that? And so squirrel, I mean, there's more than enough for everybody, right? Um, like I've heard someone say, I think it was Greg Braden, about how we have we have the technology, we have the ability to make sure that every person on the planet has housing, has food, has everything they need. The problem isn't a crisis of resources, it's a crisis of thought, of application. Um, and you can see that right now when it's extreme in the States, in the United States right now, right? Um, there's no reason. Oh, I won't go into. I don't want to go down that one road tonight, but it's just when you realize the resources that are available, and to see people being deprived of those just because of someone's ego or fear or prejudice, it's heartbreaking, right? Winning means everybody wins. There is enough. And so bringing it back to the personal, right, Natalie, you have more than enough to give you everything you need. There's no need to worry. There's no need. In fact, one of the things of squirrel medicine is joy, right? Squirrel plays. They're constantly playing. And so, you know, the universe is all about frequency, right? And you're at a certain frequency. And when we move from fear, we lower that frequency and things become more difficult. Becomes more difficult to make things happen or to find the way through things. But if we start to increase the joy in our day, joy is how we raise our frequency, right? And when you raise your frequency, you see things from a higher perspective, and you can see more solutions and more options that are available, and miracles happen and things come together that can't when you're in that tunnel vision of fear, trying to figure out how things are going to work out, feeling like you're the one that needs to make it work out, right? You are not in charge of making it work out. The universe is like a giant GPS system. Your job is to put the destination into the GPS. And then the universe guides you every step of the way to that destination, right? Like, I need a new job. I need more financial stability. I need whatever it is, whatever that desire is. That's your destination. And you put it out there and you hold that vision, right? You just keep, like I did as a kid, thinking about being in my bed at night. You think about what it feels like to have that money or that car or that job or whatever it is that you need. And you continue to hold that vision, hold that feeling. Even if it's just 5 minutes a day, set aside 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day to sit and just feel the fulfillment of all these things you want. That's when that's when the synchronicities happen. The synchronicities are the universe GPS system guiding you which way to go. And when you move from that place of joy, when you move from that place of open-mindedness, miracles happen. I can promise you this. It's one of those things, I could sit here and tell you this day after day after day after day, right? But until you actually experience it, you may not believe it. It's taking that leap off the cliff, kind of like the Fool card, that stepping off, taking a chance, taking that leap, allowing yourself to, okay, well, let's see what happens if I do that, right? And so, and Squirrel can help you with that, right? On a vision quest, I went there were some squirrels that were in my campsite all day long and stuff. And so I was asking Squirrel, like, what is your message? And Squirrel told me, it's like when you see us running and leaping and jumping to another tree, he's like, we don't necessarily have something we're aiming at. He's like, we just we fling ourselves into space and trust that there's going to be a branch on the other side. You know, and so it's taken this leap and trusting that there's going to be a place to land, realizing that it's in surrendering rather than tightening up, right? You're right. Yeah, joy and healing go hand in hand. In fact, I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. And the whole idea behind Reiki, like I did Reiki for my mom one time, and I was like, how do you, afterwards I'm like, how do you feel? She's like, I just feel really relaxed. And I'm like, yes, that's the point. The body knows how to heal itself. And it's in letting go, trying to micromanage our body, trying to make things happen. I mean, we still need to take medicine or, nurture wounds, etc., etc. But that's part of the, assisting the body to do what it does, right? And it's from a place of joy, a place of surrendering, trusting the body to know what it needs to do. And so, like with Reiki, a big portion of it is getting the person to relax so that they can get out of the way and allow nature to take its course. And it's the same, not just physically, but it's the same, say with abundance, say with resources and stuff. It's that letting go, the relaxing, that allows things to come to you easier. So, Natalie, I hope that is helpful. My message is to play more, bring joy into every day. If there's like something that just occurred to me just recently, and I felt so stupid when it occurred to me, like, why isn't there why isn't there much joy in my life? Why is it so out of balance? I realized because I'm not choosing to be joyful, because I'm choosing, tasks and obligations and this kind of thing instead of joy. And so, in fact, last night, I got to go to a Shakespeare in the Park. I didn't know about it until like the day before. And I found out, it's like, God, I've been wanting to go to something like that for so long, and I just never have time, or I've got something else coming up. And I was like, I'm going. And I went, and it was like one of the best nights that I remember for a long time. It was like just being able to unwind and to fully focus on something else that brings you joy. That is healing. And there's no difference for physical healing to emotional healing, to mental healing. It's all part of the same system. So the more you do toward moving toward joy, like Joseph Campbell always said, when you follow your bliss, where there were only walls, doors will open. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So try to bring more joy into your world. Try to move toward the joy, move toward the beauty, move toward the things that uplift you. And you will find that the things that you need will come easier and easier. They'll just show up. People will show up out of the blue with exactly the right information you need, or the right directions to go to a certain place to get whatever it is. It's like knowing that you already have it. You're already whole, right? And that means that you already have everything you need. The outside world is just a reflection of what is inside. And so when you realize on the inside that you already have that, when you realize that you can sit quietly and can feel the freedom and the power that comes from having a new car, for example, you can feel that every single day without the physical presence of a new car. That's how powerful you are. And by fostering those feelings rather than the what ifs and how is that going to happen, nothing ever works out for me, shift that. Everything is always working out for me. And do, gratitude. Thank you, universe, for my new car. Even when you don't have it, even when you're still taking the bus or whatever, right? So I hope that is helpful. I hope that is helpful. The universe is on your side. I just recommend you to play more, to have more joy. All right, so card number 2. I am not doing a good job so far of not being verbose, but our second card is for Kim. I think I wanted to spend a little more time because I felt a little bad about missing you, Natalie, so. All right, so Kim, card number 2. Okay, Kim, I'm glad I'm glad I didn't let you give up your card for Natalie because you got squirrel too, but you got squirrel upright. So all of those things, okay, thank you, universe. That's the universe's way of helping me not be so verbose. Because all those things I just said are exactly for you as well. But to realize that you're already doing it, you're focusing more on the things that bring joy. You're focusing on, well, like we were talking earlier about that kind of connecting with the future you is kind of like looking at the way things are and leaping ahead to the way you want things to be, right? And drawing that into your present moment. It's so funny when that happened. You guys saw me shuffling the cards. I wasn't stacking the deck or anything. Give me a second, Kim, because even when the same card comes up for different people, there are different nuances. So I want to kind of zero in. I don't want to just be like, okay, we're done. I want to make sure I get why squirrel came up particularly for you, Kim. Okay, so Kim, it's harvest time. It's harvest time. You have been doing such good work your entire life, planting those seeds, planting those acorns, and all of those good deeds, all of those good intentions are now finding fruition. And this message is, it's okay for you to receive. You've been planting those nuts and acorns your entire life. It's time for you to receive, right? That acorn has grown into this humongous oak tree. And so it's time to start experiencing that abundance and those resources. because you have done things in the past that have affected people's lives, that have made them, you have planted seeds in other people's lives that have grown for them and helped them find their um, better selves, however you want to say that. You improve their lives just even by just making a suggestion or just being the presence that they needed at that time, that presence of love. And so now, you know, the universe works in reciprocity, right? It's like the waves coming in and the waves going out, the waves coming in. And so it's time to start receiving those waves that are coming in now because of what you've put out. And there are people that would love to help you. You don't have to do it on your own, okay? Um, and so all those things I said earlier still hold. And it's more about that claiming the fruits of the good you have done in the world, okay? You deserve it. There is beauty and there is strength and there is joy in the world simply because you are here. And it's time to, because you're such a giving person and you're always the one that's there to help. You're always the one people come to. It's okay for you to ask for help as well, okay? So, you're doing it. And just that squirreliness, that untethered joy, right? Like little kids running around. That's what you're going for. Oh, I'm so glad that made sense. I'm so glad that helped. You're welcome. All right, card number 3 for Aaliyah. They're saying to shuffle again. All right. Aaliyah, my sister from another mister. All right. They're being really particular for you tonight. Okay. I would have laughed if it was a squirrel. All right, so Leah, card number 3 is Owl in reverse. Um, so Owl is basically seeing with the heart. And that's why the great goddess Athena, the goddess of justice, of intelligence, of war, her totem is an owl. She is always shown with an owl on her shoulder. And that's because owl's eyesight is just as good as eagle's eyesight, but owl sees in the dark. And so with owl's help, Athena can see through whatever subterfuge, whatever Smoke and mirrors, someone tries to throw in between, because with Owl, she can see straight to the heart of the matter. She knows exactly what's just. She knows exactly what's called for. And Owl is also in some native tribes referred to as the bird of deception. And because owl is the only bird who is totally silent in its flight. Its feathers don't have a hard edge to them like most birds do. And so like when you hear another bird taking off and you hear that whoosh, 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 whoosh of the wings. Oh, thank you, you. Hope to see you again. Love you too. And so Owl could come in and out without anyone even knowing she was there. And so she became known as the bird of deception. And why I'm bringing that up, that's not a point of Owl that I normally talk about, but it's like there's something there's something, some situation or someone you're dealing with, and without putting judgment in it, without being good or bad, oh my God, they're trying to like do this to you. It seems like there's something that isn't making sense or doesn't feel right to you. It's like something's not computing, and it's like there's something or someone who's trying to sideline you or something like that. Things are not the way they seem. And the good news is that if it's someone else trying to mislead you or whatever, the good news is that's their karma. And they're going to have to deal with that. On the other hand, this is an opportunity for you to go into your heart and to trust your heart and what your heart tells you, what your heart sees. To look at this situation with your heart and trusting the information you get. No matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone tries to lead you to believe, this is an opportunity to really sink into your heart and trust the feelings there, trust the wisdom that you find there. So it's not to criminalize someone who's trying to get at you and you have to find vengeance and revenge or anything like that. They're just exhibiting their own personal karma. But for you, it really, everything has a gift, everything has a purpose. And so this is really an opportunity for you to really recognize your own heart's wisdom and to see through a situation that up till now has been just dark, right? And to trust that, how do I put this into words? By seeing the truth of the situation, doing what's called for, you don't have to worry about the consequences in the way that owl, when they like eat a mouse, for instance, they eat the whole mouse, right? Whole, bones, fur, everything. Because they trust their system, their digestive system is set up in a way that it filters out all the things that are not digestible. And then owl, they have what they call owl pellets. It's kind of like a cat coughing up a fur ball, right? They'll regurgitate whatever part of that animal is not digestible. And so by just going in full bore, everything sorts itself out, right? The Reservation Dogs. I love that show. I haven't been able to see the latest season yet, but yeah, it's like owl. Owl is that wisdom of the heart, that wisdom that. What's that one saying? There's that saying about how. Oh crap, I can't remember exactly. But I know the last part is like spirit sits in the center and knows. Like everything else is this process, the mind, and how does that go? I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember exactly. But it's like owl is that center. Owl is that wisdom of being that just knows what is true, knows what is right. And with that owl medicine, you again, there's a sense of sovereignty, right? It's like eagle is the king of the birds of the day, and owl is the queen of the birds of the night. And so it's like that sovereignty, right? You are in charge of your life. You're in charge of how you deal with your life, etc. And so you don't owe anyone any permission. You don't have to ask someone anyone's opinion. You don't have to get permission. You don't have to justify yourself to anyone. That's part of that silence. Owl flies in, grabs a mouse or a rabbit, and then flies back out again, and no one even knows she was there, right? It's that when you're moving from your heart, you're automatically in harmony with all of creation. And so, yeah, claim that sovereignty and trust your feelings. Use the force, Luke. Reach out with your feelings. Trust your feelings over anything anyone says. Okay? All right, so card number 4 for Joe. Hi, Joe. You're so welcome, Aaliyah, my sister. I wish you guys were still up here because Fawn just came to Seattle. We could have gone together. That's where I got the shirt. Okay, card number 4 for Joe. And just so you know, everybody, you're not the only ones learning during these times, like while I'm doing this. I learned so much, and my ideas and my understandings evolved so much by doing this work, by doing the readings. And there's things that come out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh wow, I never thought of that before. And so thank you. I mean, this is definitely a reciprocity, mutual benefit kind of thing. So, all right. Joe. Card number 4 for Joe is deer. I keep trying to get it so it doesn't have that glare. Oh dear. This one makes me really happy because deer embodies that gentleness, that compassion, especially toward the self. And so I'm guessing that you've been working through a lot of stuff, a lot of shadow work and that, and coming out the other side, realizing that you don't need to be so hard on yourself, so self-critical and self-judgmental, that you have value just for the fact that you exist. Oh my God, Aaliyah. Yes, it's a fawn. I haven't thinking about that. I can't believe I didn't think of that. But you know, it's like it's kind of a thumbs up from the universe for you that you've been able to calm some of the self-judgment and switched that judgment to curiosity, right? You know, deer has those literal Bambi eyes, right? And so it's really a lot about simplification, like it kind of like that. There's a story about how in some town there was a low bridge, and a delivery truck tried to go under the bridge and got stuck partway through because the bridge was too low for it. And so they couldn't get it. It was wedged in there. They couldn't get it out. And so they called all the city officials and all the city engineers and all, you know, the construction people trying to figure out what they were going to do. Hey, Gage. I've already got the 6. In fact, we're doing an extra one, but so choose a number. We're on 4 right now. Good to see you, dude. And so this truck had gotten wedged in under this bridge, and they're trying to figure out, can they take the truck apart? Do they have to, you know, drill into the bridge? Do they have to do this? Do they have to do that? Meanwhile, a little 5-year-old kid comes riding by on his bike, and he's like, well, why don't you just let the air out of the tires? Right? So it's that simplifying things, looking at things. It's that Zen mind, beginner's mind, right? Like the Zen mind, like meditation and doing all those things, helps you to simplify your brain, your mind, to uncomplicate it, rather than coming. And it's that also that story of the guy that came. Oh, bye, Gage. I wish you could stay longer. Watch the repeat and choose a number. I hope to come back next time. Um, that there's that story about the guy, um, the Western guy who went to the East and approached this Buddhist master, and he's like, I want to know everything you know. And he's going on and on about what he's learned so far and blah 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 and his abilities and blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, that monk just picked up his tea kettle and filled a cup and just kept filling the cup and filling the cup, and the tea is running everywhere and getting into everything. And the guy's like, wait, what are you doing? And the monk said, your mind is like this cup. It can only be so full. You have to empty it out before you can learn new things. And that's kind of what's happening here. It's like, I find myself every so often needing to go back to the basics that I learned way back when I first started reading about metaphysical things and stuff, right? Because there's things that things get like when we don't remember those things, we overcomplicate things. We get caught into dogma again where, okay, well, you can't do this because you have to do this, otherwise this is going to happen, right? And we get all these rules. Yes, you need to reset the factory settings. Exactly. And to walk gently, to know that, you know, dear, if you think about it, if you've ever just seen a deer kind of grazing and stuff, they're cautious, they're alert, but they're not all tightly bound and hyper vigilant because they trust those great big ears to hear every little particle of sound, right? And those eyes to be able to see what doesn't belong. They know that in a moment's notice, they can be gone. They can leap, they can run, they can be out of there if they need to be. And because they trust their abilities, they don't have to be hypervigilant, and they can be curious and approach things closer than they might not normally do, right? And so is recognizing the subtle, what word do I want to use? The subtle greatness, that subtle excellence within you, to know that you're okay no matter what is happening, that you have grace, that you have beauty, that you bring to the world just by being who you are. And that's the reason for the reset, is to slough off all the crap that has accumulated on top of you that has kept you from remembering who you truly are, right? So be curious and learn, appreciate yourself, appreciate the things that you're good at. You know, we're given talents, we're given things that we're good at for a reason, for a compass to know which direction to go in. What's our purpose? What's our right way of life? And so don't deny yourself those things. And when you do that, when you walk softly, when you walk gracefully, when you give yourself that grace, that's when you're most in harmony with the world around you. Not because you're fitting into the world, but because you're syncing up, you're resonating with the harmony of the world. When I say world, I'm not talking about society world, I'm talking about the natural world, right? So good job. Good job. All right, so card number 5 for Tiffany. You're welcome, Joe. I hope that's helpful. I think that was mostly a sign from the universe to let you know that you're doing well. That you need to give yourself credit for how well you've been doing. If you look at yourself now versus, 6 months, a year ago or whatever, and look at all the different ways not things out there have improved, but things in yourself that you're not as worried about or concerned about or whatever, that giving yourself the benefit of the doubt, right? All right. Card number 5 for Tiffany. Okay, Tiffany. See, now I'm glad I didn't let you give up your card either, because this is significant. So card number 5 is Wild Boar in reverse. And when Wild Boar comes up, a lot of times it is the sign of initiation. Boar is probably the fiercest animal on the planet. They are unpredictable, and they get into this kind of a battle lust where they spin in circles and they slash with their tusks, and even a tiger will turn tail and go the other way when they see a boar coming down the path, because they don't want to deal with them. And because of that, like across the globe in many indigenous cultures, killing a wild boar is the rite of passage to adulthood, because you're not guaranteed to survive, right? And so know that whatever is happening right now feels like you might be going through kind of a dark night of the soul kind of thing, but know that there is purpose in that. That the way I look at it, we grow up in this kind of comfort zone, right? We have this bubble of reality where things make sense, where you're comfortable, where you're safe, and there's always kind of this ring of fear around the edge of it, where if we get too close, and that's what we talk about, stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Because beyond that point, here be dragons, right? And I kind of see Boar as the one that patrols. He's that ring of fear in a way. And it's not oppressive. It's not to keep you back. It's like the shell of a nut, right? That lets the meat of the nut grow in safety. The shell protects the inner softness that can grow until it's time for that inner meat to become a sprout and to break through that shell, right? It's like that's where you are right now. And so when we do that, we are literally facing our demons. We are facing our fears. And so Bohr becomes, rather than being that impenetrable barrier that keeps us safe, Bohr becomes the gatekeeper that allows you to outgrow your old shell. Does that make sense? And it's like in video games when you level up, right? And you have to face the boss of that level. And you know, it can seem like that boss is there to kill you or to oppress you or, you know, send you back to the beginning or whatever. But the real purpose of that boss is to be the gatekeeper to the next level. That boss's job is to make sure you have the tools and the wisdom and the experience that you need in order to survive on the next level. And so if you don't get through the boss the first time, it's because you still had something to learn, right? There was something you were missing that is necessary to survive on the next level. And so right now, it's like you're in that place. You might be questioning, like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this? What else could there be? I don't feel like I deserve to be any better than I am, or whatever that is. It's like those are the inner demons that come up at this time. And they're, like I said, they're not even solid. If you are facing them, whatever you can face, you can handle. And the fact of just facing them, of allowing them into your space, automatically takes some of their power away. And that is courage, right? Fear is the seed of courage. Without fear, there would be no courage. And a lot of times, courage is the ingredient we need in order to move forward, right? Even if we're scared, shaking in our boots, just step by step walking forward is the most courageous thing you can do. And it's the most rewarding thing you can do as well. It's like years from now, you can look back on this moment in your life and it might all make sense. Like, oh, that's why I was experiencing that. Oh, that's why it felt like the rug was pulled out from under me in that situation, because that was done. I didn't need that anymore, and I needed to move in a different direction, or whatever it is. It's like, again, fostering that sense of trust and faith that you're always in the right place at the right time, that the universe has your back, that the universe will use whatever is in front of you to bring you home. Whatever the challenge, whatever the reward, whatever is in front of you is the path. And it is there for a purpose. And if it is in front of you, you have everything you need to get through it. Right? And by doing that, you become Bohr. You become this fierce beast that tigers don't even want to tangle with. It's kind of like that thing when you learn karate so you don't have to use it, right? Like once you start to learn karate, you carry yourself differently because you know how to take care of yourself. Kind of like I was talking about with the deer medicine, right? You know your abilities, you know you can respond to whatever happens. And so you don't have to be hyper vigilant looking for things, looking for trouble. And so when you know that you can handle yourself, you just carry yourself differently. Your energy shifts, your aura shifts, how you relate to the universe, to the world shifts. And, um, on one hand, people just stop seeing you as prey because you're carrying yourself differently. And people are like, oh, I don't want to mess with that person, right? And it's kind of like that's what you're going through right now. You're kind of learning the kata of a karate system, and you might be being knocked on your butt more often than you wish, but every fall is wisdom. Every time you don't get it right, like Edison talked about, 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Everything, like Nietzsche said too, is like what doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. Every situation is an opportunity for growth. Now that said, like my experience I mentioned with anxiety and panic attacks, I understand how truly difficult that is. But if you keep in mind that same affirmation, everything is always working out for me, or only good can come of this. Ask the universe for the eyes to see the gift of whatever this is, to know the strength within me that this situation is cultivating. And it really comes down to that realization that no matter what happens, you are whole. That you are a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. Your very essence is spirit. Your very essence is eternity, infinity. There is nothing on this planet or beyond it that is more powerful than you. You cannot be destroyed. You cannot be eliminated. Physically, yes, you can die, but the true you cannot be harmed. There's this core part of you that is indomitable, right? It cannot be dominated, it cannot even be touched. And it's moving from that center place that makes the rest of us stronger, right? It infuses the rest of our life with that same strength of stillness, strength of being, where when you get in touch with that, it's like the world parts. The world shows up for you in a different way than it does when you move from fear, from victimhood, etc. So know that if you are facing it, if it is in front of you, it is not beyond you. You have everything you need to get through it. And the point is not to just get through it. The point is the strength and the wisdom that you're gaining from going through this experience. And like I said, like Sandra Ingerman, who's been my main teacher for over a decade now, I think, one of her guides told her a while back, like, she was going through this really tough initiation. And she went to her guides, she's like, can you just let me know if I'm going to get through this, right? And her guide was like, if you knew you were going to survive, it wouldn't be initiation. And so it's like that step of applying everything you've learned up to this point. Realizing that everything you've learned, everything you've gone through up to this point has given you the experience and the wisdom to face whatever new experience this is. And it would not be there if you didn't have the means to, I don't want to say conquer it. I don't like that idea of conquering, but it's like it's like I said earlier, fear being the seed of courage. The fear that you're feeling, the uncomfortableness, discomfort, etc., not knowing what's going to happen is actually the seed of who you are becoming. The Magician card. Thanks, Keith. I am not a tarot reader, so I don't know, I'm not that intimately familiar with all of the connotations of the different cards, but this is about, I think, and this, thank you for that, I think it's about transmutation. It's not about just overcoming something, it's transforming one thing into something else. Lead into gold. And so you've got this. You're going to look back and on this and realize that this was a turning point where your true self, where your wings kicked in, where your purpose kicked in. It might seem insurmountable at the moment, but this is the ground that gives you the solid footing to move into purpose. Okay? All right. Card number 6 for Keith. And I try to be brief. I don't think that is something that is beyond me. Maybe that's the bore I need to face, is being brief and succinct in my messages. But anyway, it is what it is for the time being. So card number 6 for Keith. All right, Keith, card number 6 is alligator in reverse. Similar to, in a way, similar to boar, you're going through a rebirth. You're probably, I don't know, you might be finding yourself in a lot of darkness, of uncertainty, not knowing what the future holds. Things might be topsy-turvy, but know that as uncomfortable as it may be, as unpredictable as it may be, as surreal as things may seem right now, you are safe. Oh, you're a psychopomp. Awesome. I love psychopomp. That is one of my favorite things to do. And so you're in this rebirth cycle, like you're in the egg, right? And the thing about alligator that people don't realize, alligator is one of the best mothers in the animal kingdom. She not only protects her nest, protects the eggs so that they can grow. She actively nurtures the eggs by stirring them in the nest, stirring the dirt and the eggs in the nest so that the eggs get equal amounts of heat from the sun and coolness from the earth. And so some of the topsy-turviness of life right now could literally be the cosmic mother turning your egg to make sure you're getting everything you need. And so again, there's this moving back to center, surrendering, knowing that everything is proceeding as it needs to, that despite the not knowing, what the future holds, not knowing what's happening, not knowing where it's leading, that you are safe, that you are being held by the universe. You are literally in the womb of the cosmic mother. And then, once the eggs do hatch, alligator will actually take her babies in her mouth, take them down to the river, and teach them how to swim. She's very family oriented. She's very nurturing, which you wouldn't think of with this, monstrous reptile killer. But it's like all of everything that's happening right now is moving you toward greater strength, greater freedom. Again, like bringing karate into it. You have kick-ass guides. That's awesome. Oh shoot, what was I saying? Oh, like the karate thing, right? It's like, it's by doing the practices, doing the katas, doing whatever that discipline of practicing, or even just being a piano player, practicing, right? That's what gives you more freedom to respond to whatever happens. It's what gives you that freedom to be who you are, to excel in your abilities, right? I don't remember who the piano player was, some world-renowned piano player. And he was at like a restaurant or something, and then they had a piano, and he just got up and started tootling around on the piano and stuff, and people were like, oh my God, that is so good. And he's like, yeah, I'm still practicing. I'm hoping someday I'll be great, right? Because there's always growth. There's always more to learn and to do and to become. The other thing that I love about alligator is that along with all reptiles, really, reptiles tend to be close to the earth, right? So they carry this primal mother goddess medicine. When you think about the snake in the Bible, in the Garden of Eden, etc., like snakes, alligators. Alligator is a survivor. She is so perfectly in sync with her environment that she has been unchanged for literally millions of years, right? And so she is this unbroken channel of wisdom, of that primal divine feminine wisdom, unbroken chain, right? And so I would not be surprised if you find this rebirth that's happening. It's not necessarily, into a new creature, into a new form, but more of a deepening into who you truly are. kind of like that feeling where um, where you think you're at the top of your game and you're pretty confident and you think you know everything there is to know about something, and all of a sudden someone introduces this whole new concept, right? That it's like someone took this whole picture that was complete in itself and opened a door to this whole other room that you didn't even know existed. And so it expands your understanding and abilities exponentially to a point that you didn't even know existed. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Paul Reiser. He's a comedian. He used to star in the show Mad About You. And he wrote a book. And one of the things that he wrote in his book was about this feeling of like you're at the river or at the ocean and you're swimming and it's like the sun is on you, and yes, progress and evolution, exactly. But you're coming out of the water. It's like the sun. The sun is warming you. The water is cool. It's like the perfect temperature. You're feeling strong. You're coming out of the water, and like your world could not get more perfect, right? You just feel like it's one of those most perfect moments, and all of a sudden, a little bit of water drains from your ear, and everything you thought was perfect just got even more perfect. You're at that place where you don't think it can get any better. And all of a sudden it does, right? It's kind of like that's where you are. You're great at what you do. You have a natural inclination and talent for what you do. And it's like there's a secret passage that's going to open up, that's opening up, where it's going to put everything that you've learned to this point into context, into a different context. Like there's a bigger picture, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's awesome. And the reason it was reversed is because you're still in that process. You're still kind of in. I love that work. That is so cool that you do that. Thank you for that work. You know, and like I talked about Alligator being this unbroken channel of that primal divine feminine, becoming that hollow bone, and to be able to channel spirit in a way to help others. I love that so much that you do psychopomp. That is, like I said, that's one of my favorite aspects of shamanism. But you're gonna be bringing new strength and new depth to it that you didn't even know existed. So good for you, and thank you for doing that work. That is like some of the most rewarding work I know of. All right, so tonight we're doing a seventh card. Because I goofed up earlier and I didn't see someone on the list who had said yes, and so we're just going to include everyone. You're so welcome, Keith. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for adding your energy to what happens. All right, so card number 7 is for Anna. I really need to start just scheduling this as 2 hours. I try to hem it into an hour and a half, but it never works. But all right, card number 7 for Anna. And if you're still here with me, thank you so much for your perseverance. And then once we finish this card, I'll pull one more for the community. kind of our community totem for the week. Oh, wow. I feel like this is full circle. This is so cool. So card 7 for Anna is Buffalo, who I mentioned in the very first card we pulled, with Squirrel talking about abundance, right? But the other aspect of Buffalo, besides abundance, about being that one-stop shopping, like providing everything that the Native Americans needed. There is also, I feel like the other aspect of Buffalo that applies here is that moving forward. You know, when there's a storm, domestic cows tend to run away from the storm, try to get out of the way. They run away from it, right? And so they're going the same direction the storm is. And so the storm actually lasts longer for them because it comes over them and then it keeps going with them. Buffalo, when there's a storm coming, they turn their head into the storm and they start walking. And so there's this sense of, well, what I've been talking about all night, that sense of wholeness, of completeness in themselves, the confidence, knowing themselves, knowing that the storm holds no danger for them and they just keep walking and it will blow out even quicker because they're walking into it, right? So it's about, and kind of like what I was talking about with Bohr, that courage to face things head on rather than to put things off or to try to ignore things, right? Things get bigger and bigger and bigger that way. But when we face things, whatever glamour they hold over us, whatever threat or illusion or smoke and mirrors that they have for us starts to diminish. Because once you face it, you start to see through that. And walking forward, it's, like I said earlier, there is no one and nothing in the universe that is more powerful than you. And this is like summing up all the other cards tonight, because it's also about that, you know, shoot. It's about walking into the shadow, trusting yourself, trusting your abilities, knowing your greatness, right? Buffalo doesn't have to worry about being blown away. I mean, they're a mountain of flesh, right? And so it's just that, and it's not confrontational. It's not conflict. It's actually in harmony. It's like walking into the storm. I'm going this way, and what am I trying to say here? It's not like, how dare you, storm, I will conquer you. It's just, I'm going to keep going my way. I'm going to walk through the storm, and the storm will blow itself out, and it's a no thing. It has no power over me, and it will blow itself out. I will outlast the storm. I will come out on the other side stronger. And so it's not this confrontational conflict, you know, like dun 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 dun, like Rocky trying to, face the next battle and the next competitor, his next competition to better himself. It's like it's more this self assurance of just continuing to walk step after step after step, not challenging the storm, but just walking and asserting your presence, asserting your ability by simply being there. Because you have nothing to prove. There is no one outside of you that you need to get the approval of or that you need to impress. It's about knowing who you are on the inside, that inner peace, that inner confidence, that inner strength. And sometimes those storms come up just to remind us how strong we really are, how far we've actually come. Right? When like some of the same issues come up, it's like, oh my God, I thought I dealt with that back, years ago. And it's like it's the universe just reminding you of how far you've come, how this thing that used to bowl you over, that used to make you scamper for shelter, it doesn't affect you that way anymore. And so there's part of this abundance, abundance isn't just food and shelter and money. Abundance is the wholeness within you. Knowing there's always a way, there's always enough, knowing that you are enough, and that whatever you are feeling, whatever your heart is telling you is correct, and that you can trust it over whatever storm is going on in the world, right? So it's kind of like Owl in that way too, of seeing through the darkness. Buffalo doesn't necessarily see through the darkness, but he knows that he's a match for anything that tries to stand in his way, right? It's kind of that remover of obstacles. I've been actually working with Ganesha a little bit more lately. It's kind of that same remover of obstacles, not putting up with any guff, and breaking through. You have acquired the strength and the courage and the abilities to break through those walls that have held you captive for so many years. And it doesn't mean you don't need to rest and nurture yourself at the same time, but you have everything you need to break through, breaking through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. You're breaking through. And again, like I was talking to Keith about, it's an initiation on one hand, but it's not as emotionally charged or survivally charged as an initiation. It's more of, yeah, I got this, and moving forward, and knowing that nothing can arise against you, right? So good job. Keep moving. There's nothing that can stand against you. Nothing. You have the whole universe at your back. You can do anything. All right, so that was actually 7 cards tonight. And I'm going to do one more, the community card, kind of our community totem to walk us through this coming week together, kind of whatever medicine is in common with us, what we're all kind of facing together. So And as I shuffle, I'm just going to remind you that my only request tonight for watching this video is that you please share it. If you know other people that might get something out of it, if you enjoyed it and say, hey, you got to see this guy, please share far and wide. I appreciate that. I'm trying to expand my influence, expand my voice, and you can help me out with that by those simple things. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. That apparently helps the algorithms so that more people can find me. I don't know how that works, but I appreciate that. And if you wish to reciprocate in a different way, or you just want to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, I have my PayPal and Venmo links in the description under this video, which is helpful to me to be able to, it goes all to me to help me be able to focus on my spiritual path, my spiritual growth, so that I have even more experience and wisdom to bring back to my community and support you in your spiritual growth. And so it's this beautiful reciprocity. I thank you, beyond grateful for that. And if you enjoy my work and would like to do some one-on-one work, I do personal readings. We'll do a whole spread for you, like 5 cards. Tonight is just kind of a taste of what I do, but if you would like a full reading from me, you can visit my website at perchingwolfstudios.net, and you can learn more about me. You can see the different shamanic services I offer, readings and teachings and healings, oh my. So, and you can set up a session with me right from my website, either, card readings. Okay, that's our card. Card readings for guidance. We do healings, soul retrievals, shamanic healing of all kinds, and teachings. I know I've been saying this for a few weeks now, but I'm zeroing in on getting some classes together that I want to offer in person, locally and online. And so keep posted. Follow my Facebook page, Perching Wolf Studios Facebook page. I'm usually better at posting things there than I am actually on my own website. But I also do one-on-one teaching. I take on mentoring students. So if you're at a turning point, or you've had an awakening experience, or you're just not sure what direction to go in anymore, I would be honored to be your teacher. If and this deck has clans, yeah. I don't work with any other deck really. I've got other decks, but this is the only deck I really use. It's just, yeah. All that and a bag of chips. If you enjoy my videos, if you like the things I produce on my website, and I'm also a cartoonist. On my website I have links there you can buy some graphic novels and coloring books that I have done, self-published. But if we work together well, if I resonate with you, I would love to be your teacher. I would love to be there to help guide you, not to become a clone of myself, a carbon copy, but to help you find your own unique path, right? To find we each come here with a different path, with a different purpose, and that's my job, is to help you clarify that. And I love my work, I love my job, so if any of that is helpful to you, let me know. I'm so excited to work with you. Anything else? I think that's it. So, our final card of the evening is the wolf. Kind of like my Perching Wolf Studios. Um, Wolf brings along, if you are watching this, you are, how do I put it? You're a trailblazer. You're ahead of the pack, right? And that is kind of the medicine of Wolf, is that they're very community oriented, right? But they have scouts that go ahead of the pack to get the lay of the land, to find out where there's game, to find out where's the best place to cross the river, etc. That kind of thing. That's who you are. And I know a lot of times, and this is personal experience speaking here, we kind of forget. We kind of lump ourselves in with everyone else, thinking we're just a run-of-the-mill. And I'm not saying that we're greater than anyone, it's just our path is different. That if you're watching this, chances are your path is to go ahead of the pack, to blaze trails, to learn things before other people do, and then to bring that back to the community and to teach them. Wolf is the teacher. And so to know that even your foibles, even your missteps, even the places you don't necessarily succeed are successful, because whatever it is brings wisdom. And that wisdom is what you bring back to the pack, right? And in this beautiful balance, right, of Grandmother Moon, the divine feminine, Grandfather Wolf, the divine masculine, right? Wolf is the perfect balance of that masculine and feminine. Wolf enacts, Wolf manifests, Wolf brings into reality the inspiration of Grandmother Moon, of the divine feminine. The heart, right, is his guide. And through that, by following the lead of the heart, of the feminine, and making manifest the unmanifested, he becomes stronger, he becomes more of who he is. And so it's a surrender to your greatness, surrender to who you already are. And know that you have a message, and sometimes it's not even, standing in front of a group and teaching. I mean, that's one aspect of teaching. But other people change the world just by being themselves, by bringing a new energy and a new inspiration to other people, right? And it's a sign also, it's to remember that when you're having tough times, like one of my teachers said, I was in this class, and my teacher said, like, if you're sitting here, and he said, on your worst days, you are still vibrating at a higher level than most people do on their best days. Because you're doing the work. You are on the path of growth, of awareness, of becoming who you are meant to be. You are actively seeking that. And like the squirrel planting those nuts, you have so many more resources than other people do. Things that you have done, wisdom and experiences that hold you naturally at a higher vibration than most people. So even on your worst days, when you think it's all pointless, when you can't see the point of doing one more gratitude journal or whatever it happens to be, right? Remember that you're breaking ground, that you are going somewhere no one has ever been before. I don't remember who it was that said that. It might have been Joseph Campbell, but he's like, if you're following your spiritual path and your path is paved, it's not your path because someone else has already been there. Your path is totally unique and totally unlike anyone who has ever lived and anyone who will ever live. And so there's going to be hardships. You're blazing trails. You're going where no one has ever gone before. To boldly go where no one has gone before. That is you. And so to give yourself that grace, give yourself that wiggle room to make mistakes, to learn from mistakes, using mistakes more as the rumble strips on the side of the road that keep you on the road rather than something that has to be figured out and addressed. And it's like, whoop, that didn't work, so okay, coming back to center, like when they teach you meditation, and it's like you're trying to focus on your breath, focus on being here, letting your thoughts just float through like clouds. But we're all human, and once in a while we're going to attach to a cloud. It's going to take us out of our meditation. But then the instructions is not to curse ourselves like, oh my God, I'm so bad at this, I'm never going to get it right. It's to like, oh, whoops, I lost track and I followed that thought. I came out of my center, so bring it back to center now. That you don't curse the thought, you don't curse your abilities, you don't curse yourself for doing that. That just makes you stronger. The next time it happens, you realize it sooner and you come back to center sooner. So be good to yourself. Claim what you have learned. Claim how much you have grown. Know that it has not been for nothing, that there is purpose, and that you have literally changed the world with every step you have taken. And you will continue. This is not an easy path. But you are courageous. You have chosen this path because you know there's something more, because there is that courage that makes you face those things. Even when you're quaking in your boots, right? You still need to know, how do I move forward? There's got to be more. So give yourself that courage. Give yourself that grace. And know that you're always exactly where you need to be. That the universe has you. The universe watches over you. That the universe, like Grandmother Moon, is within you and guides you. All the answers you need are within. Okay? All right, so that is our time for tonight. We went a full 2 hours. Thank you for those who have persevered and stuck through it with me. I appreciate you. I appreciate, and if you're watching this on repeat, I appreciate you as well. Thank you for joining us. I hope you got something good out of tonight. Check out my website, subscribe to the channel. Those are the things that kind of help me out, help me help you. And I hope you will come back next week. Invite your friends. And until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye now.